This episode is all about endings and beginnings. Hey everyone, I wanted to make a special episode to talk about endings, beginnings, and how we're all feeling. Today is nearing the end of 2025, and I'm just reflecting on how I'm feeling and how so many people around me are feeling. It's such a mixed bag this year. So you're going to dig in to how we get through the endings and the beginnings and how we might not all feel the same about how 2025 went, and that's okay. Frankly, a lot of people don't want to talk about 2025 at all. I personally had an incredible year, but a lot of us are tired. It's been a year of digging in, no matter which kind of digging you've been doing, and digging out. So we're not all just physically tired, but some of us are emotionally tired. Tired of holding it together, tired of reflecting, tired of learning lessons. Oh my gosh, the lessons. Tired of being told everything happens for a reason. And if you're feeling disconnected from the usual, like year-end energy, maybe the celebrations, the gratitude lists that we know are coming, the new year, new you messaging, I want you to know that you're not doing anything wrong and you're not alone. This is a response, honestly, to a hard season, multiple back-to-back hard seasons for many people. And what people are carrying right now is heavy. So here's what I'm hearing over and over from clients, from friends, from my own inner world. People are tired of hustle culture and the hustle culture that's disguised as healing and growth. They're tired of being told to reframe it, tired of performing resilience instead of being allowed to rest, tired of over intellectualizing pain and dissecting the past. Toxic positivity that skips over grief. People are tired and they need to embrace their griefs. They're tired of feeling like they're behind in life because their timeline looks different from other people. And many people are very quietly carrying fear for the future, especially with AI coming. They're carrying burnout they never fully recovered from, grief they didn't have time to process because this year, like many, has been a whirlwind. They're tired of identity shifts that left them unsure of who they are now. A deep longing for peace, not productivity. So if you're ending this year feeling tender, raw, or emotionally flat, it makes total sense. And you are not alone. Sorry if I say that a million times during this episode, but it's so true. Year-end emotions are really intense. So let's talk about why from a neuroscience perspective and just a humanity perspective. From a nervous system perspective, the end of the year naturally pulls us into reflection, which can be extremely healthy. Our brain starts scanning backward. What did I survive? What didn't turn out the way I hoped? What version of me had to disappear so that this one could exist? That's a lot. And in that process of the reflection, we can also get pulled even further back and realizing that in this year of digging deep and of healing and of growth, we also really highlighted the many years that we were stuck. Maybe this is one of those years for some of us. For me, I came face to face with the reality of the years I lost, not using my voice, not showing up an aligned way. And that was sometimes difficult. Just recently, I shed a tear thinking of the little girl version of myself whose human design manifestor wanted to inform and share and talk and be bold was quieted because, like many manifestors, we were too much. We really genuinely were too much for the nervous systems of the people around us. But I'm right on track, figuring it out and coming online and living aligned just like I'm supposed to, right at the time I'm supposed to. So at the same time, as we see all of these ways that we feel exhausted from this past year, the world is kind of asking us to celebrate, which can feel deeply disconnecting when your body is still integrating something that feels unfinished. This isn't weakness, it's your nervous system asking for space, asking us to rest, not pressure. A lot of people set resolutions for the new year. But in reality, the new year is winter. It comes during winter at a time when we really are probably more wired to be resting. There's, in most parts of the world, I take that back. In my part of the world, in the United States, and probably where most people are listening, we have the least amount of sunlight. There's a bigger window of time for us to rest. And I believe that's what our bodies are supposed to do. But society is telling us it's a new year, it's time to go, it's go time. Make resolutions, make goals. So if that's what you're feeling in January, it is perfectly fine to remove that pressure right now. Now, from an astrological, remember, I'm an astrology kind of junkie, but there is a theory on why this particular ending to 2025 feels different. Now, I'm going to bring in a little astrology, and if it's not your thing, just hear this as a metaphor, all right? Late 2025 carries the symbolic energy of ending a long chapter. Astrologically, it reflects dissolution, old identities, old illusions, old ways of coping that once kept us safe, but no longer fit. That rings very true for me and for this podcast, which is called Pulling Threads, which means unprogramming the things society put on us, the way trauma shaped us, and letting go of the things that we no longer need. Now, in parts work, we would say this is calming down those parts and assuring them that we've got this, that we don't need their protection right now, and that they can rest. Psychologically, this mirrors what many people are experiencing, which is quiet realization that life can't continue the way it has, and it's not going to. Not in a dramatic way, but in a deeply honest way. This is why this ending may feel heavier and more meaningful than other years. We're not just closing a calendar. We're closing a chapter of who we had to be. And the future looks a little uncertain, although exciting, with technology creating leaps and leaps forward in our ability to access information and create. So we're sending off a really hard year. We don't need to force gratitude, but we certainly can express it if we'd like. How do we do that? Like, how do we send off a hard year without pretending it was fine or forcing ourselves to find silver linings? Now, I understand I might not be speaking to everyone, and to be honest, although I did an incredible amount of digging in 2025, I laid the foundation for a business that will serve people in exactly the way I wanted. So if you're like me, there is some balance in this and a lot of excitement for the year to come. I built a therapy practice that I absolutely love doing EMDR, internal family systems work with my clients. I've built a divorce support system for those clients. And I am 10 months into this podcast, which brings me just an incredible amount of joy when I talk by myself, and especially when I interview people who are literally changing the world. And I only expect this to grow and to thrive, and for me to continue to learn all the ways to make it better and bring more and more information to all of you. But instead of resolutions, I want to offer 3 kind of gentle questions for those who don't necessarily feel up for or energetic enough for resolutions this year. Why don't we ask, what did this year ask of me? For me personally, this year asked me to let go of so much, to let go of old programming, to let go of people who no longer fit into my world, and to let go of old versions of myself that I needed to grieve for because they didn't necessarily get to live their lives the way I wish they had. So that's what 2025 asked of me. Letting go and digging deeper, which meant a little bit of suffering at some points because I had to work through things. I definitely was faced with that whole idea, like you got to walk through the fire to get to the other side. I did that. Next question. What did it take from me? For me, I think it took away inhibition and helped me learn that using my voice and letting my voice be heard and my face be seen in the world is safe for me. What did it take from you? And what did it quietly give us? Even if it wasn't what we wanted, what did it give us? 2025 gave me a lot. It gave me a wonderful awareness of how I want to live my life, what I want to do, how passionate I feel about serving people in all of the ways that I serve them. You don't have to answer, and you don't need an answer that sounds good either. You don't need a lesson, even though you might have learned one. Sometimes honoring a year just means saying it was hard and I'm still here. That acknowledgement alone can create relief for us. It can create hope too. We got through. We made it. We got to the other side. Now, here's the part I want to say gently, though, but because many people are afraid to hope right now. The energy moving into 2026 is so different, and the world is different. Our country is different. And symbolically, there's a shift from deep internal processing towards clarity, agency, and individualism. In therapy language, this is a movement from survival mode to orientation, right? From just getting by, figuring out why, to what is possible now. So we were in, how do I get through this? Now we're in, what's possible? I don't think that this has happened overnight for most people and hasn't been dramatic for a lot of people. It's been very subtle. But if you feel even a small sense of space kind of opening, it's not your imagination. That's like integration happening for us. As many of you know, I also love human design. So let's look at this from a little human design lens, right? Again, take this as a reflection, not identity. This is a season that asks us to trust our own timing. Not everyone is meant to start January with goals. Some people are meant to rest. Some are meant to initiate, but slowly. Some are meant to wait for clarity to arrive in their body. There is no moral value in speed, but there is certainly wisdom in attunement and listening to your intuition. So there's no pressure. I think we put so much pressure on ourselves in the past, and I hope that we've all realized how toxic that can be. So let's talk about a gentler way to begin the new year for those of you who need it. Instead of asking, what do I want to accomplish next year? Try asking, what would help me feel safer in my own life? What would bring more ease into my body? What am I no longer willing to abandon myself in? Because safety creates clarity, and clarity helps us move forward. Regulation creates momentum. And once we have momentum, we can press go. And from there, your direction emerges naturally. This is why, not in 2025, but in 2022, I started a practice program, an 8-week program called mindfulness-based stress reduction. In that program, I learned how to regulate myself, get through extremely excruciatingly stressful time, including my divorce and a terrible accident I was in. That program helped me learn to pause. It helped me to understand that sometimes my intention would be one thing, but my impact would be something else. And that once if I hurt someone, my intention no longer really mattered. The impact mattered. It helped me learn to communicate better, and it helped me learn and become aware of being present in the world, in my world. Present when I'm eating, present when I'm making my coffee, when I'm showering, when I'm with other people. And to be honest, that 8-week program has changed my entire life forever. And it was so impactful. I went on to the teacher training program, which continued to have an enormous impact on how I live. That slowing down that the program required of me literally helped me see my path forward. And now there's just this immense amount of clarity that I have. And I want that for everyone. Like, I want other people, because I know there's so many people who are coming out of 2025 in a fog. And maybe it's because they've been through a divorce or they're in a divorce. Maybe it's because they've started a new job, or they hate their job, or they lost their job. Maybe it's a breakup. Maybe it's just life. But there is clarity, and there are ways to bring clarity. So as this year comes to a close, my hope for you and for me isn't a powerful ending or a perfect beginning. It's a soft landing, a moment to acknowledge what you've carried, a pause before you move forward, a reminder that becoming does not happen on January 1st. You're allowed to arrive slowly. You're allowed to leave slowly. And you're allowed to bring your whole story with you. You're allowed to hope, even if it's a quiet, small hope. So thank you for being here. I personally am excited for the new year. This podcast is going to be coming up on its 1-year anniversary at the end of January, and I can't wait to celebrate that, because being here and sharing and talking with just incredible women, all women so far, has been tremendously rewarding. And I can't wait to see how we grow in 2026. Thank you. Sending you all so much love and so much hope.